Well, what a Punters guide we've got for you this weekend. Fantastic action. Group ones on both sides of the Irish Sea. A brilliant weekend of racing, Jason. Irish Champions weekend at Leopardstown. The Sprint Cup at Haydock. We've got the reigning Champion Stakes winner, Bay Bridge, making his return as well. A brilliant weekend up and down the land and over in Ireland as well.
Yeah, look, we've got Derby winners galore, haven't we? We've got classic winners going head to head. We've got multiple big race successes, and of course, when you talk about the sprint division, Shaquille, is he the real deal? We'll find out a little bit later on at Haydock, won't we? And what a turnout! Talk about a maximum field. They're worried about not having enough runners. Everybody's having a go.
Yeah, could be a slam dunk for Shaquille in the sprint cup. We'll find out a little later on what Jason thinks in that one. We'll start at Haydock, though, shall we? With the Superior Mile, over a mile, funnily enough. Hopefully the Dead Eight do go to post. And I thought it was interesting, Zoology making his return here. Well, look in the Jersey Stakes is a stable switcher.
Yeah, he's gone across to Harry Eustace, which is interesting, isn't it? And he's always come with a little bit of a ticket. You know, the form has worked out well when he managed to win at Southwell. He beat Covey on that occasion. So he's definitely interesting. Look, everybody's going to punt light infantry. He's arguably unlucky on more occasions than he actually goes and gets the job done. But his form is rock solid, isn't it? Behind in Spiral. So top level form. The one thing I will say, is the track going to suit him perfectly around here? We know how freewheeling the nature is of Haydock. And for me, I think Chindit is a little bit overlooked, to be honest. He was disappointing in the Hungerford last time, but this track, he sits right in behind the pace, doesn't he? That's the way he's ridden into his races, and he's only going to have a length to find. Light Infantry, on the other hand, he'll be coming from the back of the pack with a Spencer Special. Will the track play to his strengths? I'll go Chindit.
Chindit then to get us off to a good start at Haydock in the Superior Mile. We're staying at Haydock for the 225, a mile 6 handicap for 3-year-olds. I was lucky enough to be at Ballyador this week, and they're looking at the St. Leger, the Betfred St. Leger next week for Denmark. He'll have to win this if he's going for that.
Yeah, he'll have to win, and have to win impressively. That's the key, isn't it? And of course, his form is behind Middle Earth and all of these. You know, you look at the Goat, he was behind him. You know, there are a few that ran in that Melrose. You've got Lordship also, who was going through the gears quite nicely. Now, it's a bit of a pet hate of mine. Blinker's second time. You know, they ran him in the Ballysacks. That was obviously the Derby trial. He then comes out, runs a cracker in the Melrose, possibly blindsided a little bit. But also, Nakib managed to bump into Middle Earth up at Newmarket. So comes out, wins by 10 lengths, is a half-brother to Baid and Hookham. He doesn't have an entry in the Betfred St. Leger, but could we see the Shadwell Estates dip their hand into their pocket and throw his hat into the ring? There's every possibility of that, I feel, off the back of a real big win. I'm just going to shy away from Denmark, the main reason being Blinker's second time.
Interested in Nakib, the well-bred Nakib then for Jason in that. The big betting race is the Old Borough Cup, wide open. Aztec Empire is a good second at York behind Forza Auto. They lock horns again, but you're literally clinging on with your fingernails on this cliff with Post Impressionist. Are we teetering over?
Oh, my word. And, you know, the more you look back at the run last time, he was only beaten 3.5 lengths, wasn't he? You know, they took all the gadgets off. He ran a much better race. Is he going to get on with it? I think the two horses who finished on top of each other. Well, Case Chorister was in there. Get Shirty was in there. You know, it's one of those races. Sea King won really easily at Goodwood last time, but he jumps up or goes back up in trip, actually. Look, I will have a pound. I've got to say, I will have a pound on Post Impressionist. It's not with any sort of real strength. It's on the hope that he can finally come up with the goods. The one that's been overlooked in the market is Tritonic. He, for all the world, I think that the quicker conditions are what he needs. He stays very well. He'll love the way that the track rides at Haydock. He'll be able to get up close to the front end and freewheel. I think that Tritonic will give you a big run for your money each way. I will, for my sins, have a pound on Post Impressionist.
Thought you might. Right, let's move on to the big one then. It is the Spring Cup. And interesting, without Kinross taking out a declaration stage, it's any price you like, bar the favourite. It's all about Shaquille, Commonwealth Cup winner, despite that tardy start. July Cup winner, gets a couple of pounds as a 3-year-old as well. He's likely to be odds on, Jason, but I know you're not going to go for him. You like something at a price, and it's the rest of the field really are double figure prices.
Yeah, why on earth? They've changed things a little bit with him. They've got the starting stalls rug on, the comfort blanket now, to make sure that everything goes okay. If he gets that part of the equation right, he's head and shoulders the best sprinter in the country, isn't he? Possibly in the world, dare I say it. And who knows where he could end up. He's been handled brilliantly. Good luck to Connections. Look, I think that he will go and win. And you're quite right. Who is going to finish close? Surely Run to Freedom had to give him £6 at Newmarket, only has to give him 2 now. The weight for age scale shrinking as we go on through the season. What price is he, Matt? You can tell me. I'm pretty sure he was up there around 20s, I think, early
yeah,
look.
16, 20s, yeah.
Well, there you go. I think that he's a massive price each way. Trevor Wheeler is on board. He's drawn away from Shaquille. He's in 15. Shaquille's down in 5. So he's not going to have something really to aim at. But yeah, I think that at the each way prices, Run to Freedom's got to go well. But I do want to see an explosive display from a purist point of view with Shaquille.
Yeah, I was thinking from the same hymn sheet. As I say, he's got less than 2 lengths to find. He's £4 better off. Wherever Shaquille finishes, surely Run to Freedom won't be that far behind. And the 16-20 to 1, you're getting, 4 to 1 a play. So I think I'll be backing him without Shaquille as well. I think he is the way to play. And Emery Candy, of course, Kalachi, Airwave, Twilight, Sun won this race. I think he's a huge each-way player, Run to Freedom. Don't get the credit he deserves. All right, let's go to Leopardstown if we can, please, Jason. It's day one, of course, of the Irish Champions weekend. And mentioned short price favourites and any price the rest. We've got one in the Matron Stakes with a superstar that is Tahira.
Yeah, look, she's only been beaten. What are we talking about? It's in the English 1000 when she came up and bumped into Morge. So that wasn't a bad performance at all. And when you go down through the others, they're all shooting incredibly high. Again, I think it's one of these that Tahira, it's hers to lose, isn't it? I don't quite like the way that Chris Hayes came out and saying the only negative prior to her winning at Ascot was the jockey. What a thing to say when you're coming into a weekend. This is a much tougher track to find traffic problems around here than it is at Ascot, around Leopardstown with 13 runners. Let's hope that she has a clear run round. Now, I can tell you, I'm close to Johnny Murtagh. He was scratching his head and had no idea why Caddo Bell ran so bad when a red-hot favourite for the Valiant. He thought that she would come over and win. She won her maiden. She bolted up at listed level. She comes over to the Royal Meeting, runs a shocker. I think her at around about 33s, anywhere there, she can get a bit of the action. She got the hood on this time. Reports are that they've not found anything wrong with her whatsoever. Look, she's not as good as a Tahira. We know that at the moment. But she's massively flying under the radar. You've got one who's an even money favourite, maybe even odds on, probably should win. Again, little slice of the action.
Interesting. Yeah, last one. I've wanted a price against a hot favourite. And let's move on to the feature race then of that weekend. Is the Irish Champion Stakes. It's the third leg of a kind of a trilogy, really, between King of Steel and Augusta Rodan. As I mentioned, I was at Ballydoyle this week, saw Augusta Rodan in the flesh. He looks magnificent. But similar sentiments, of course, when going into the King George at Ascot. Will the real Augusta Rodan stand up this weekend, Jason?
That is the question, isn't it? It's a bit of a shocker with him. It's all or nothing. And when he's on a going day, he is absolutely remarkable. King of Steel, surely we haven't seen the best of him. Roger Varian stepped into the pressure cooker yet again. He's had 1 or 2 that have gone well, 1 or 2 that have run poorly just of late. I think that Al Riffa, not to be underestimated, Christoph Soumillon comes across the ride. He ran up behind Ace Impact, hit a bit of a flat spot and stayed on well. He's definitely an improver. And of course, is that just going to be easy for Luxembourg up on the front end? He looks the lone speed in here. He's going to pop along. He managed to win the race last year. Will he be tough to pick up on the front end? Dittori on Ernesto, my old favourite, of course, Nashwa in here, chased home Mostadaf in a brilliant race at the Curragh last time. So there is an easy way in. I think Nashwa is overlooked, I've got to say. This sort of sharp track where a real change of gear late on over the 1.25 miles is ideal. I think she's being overpriced here. Everybody's going to be playing jockeys and looking around. Nashwa can pop out, sit right up behind, or mid-division at least anyway, behind Luxembourg and produce her kick late on. I'm going to go for the girl to lower the colours of the boys.
Interesting then, yes. Nashwa. I must just admit, I did see Luxembourg as well. He led the string out, and he too looked magnificent. In fact, to be honest, everything looked magnificent when you're at Ballydoyle. Right, Kempton then, let's talk about that. We'll talk about Irish Champion Stakes. What about the British Champion Stakes champion? Haybridge, he's back in action, of course, in the September Stakes, which Enable won, of course, a few years ago. Is this a case of getting a nice prep into him, ready for another tilt at Ascot on Champions Day?
Yeah, this is a perfect little setup, isn't it? He's had 80 days off. He was what? He managed to win the Brigadier Gerard, the champion. And I think that if he's anywhere near his best, surely he's going to win. The one question mark, and we've got to throw it into the mix. He steps up to 1.5 miles for the very first time. He's been campaigned on 13 occasions. He's never gone this far. But for all the world, when you watch him, he's going to appreciate it. There's not a massive amount of pace in here. You've got the likes of Isra, Candleford, Shandoz. The fascinating one is a 4-time Chilean Group 1 winner down the bottom, Fortino, who goes for John and Thady Gosden. Who knows? Absolutely, who knows what will happen with that little colt down the bottom. Baybridge, start the day off with a flyer, goes round on the bridle, impressive, and to the top of the market for whichever race he chooses on Champions Weekend.
Yeah, best luck to Richard Kingscott, on board him as well. But from that to a very different type of race, a very competitive London Mile Series final over the mile, 14 set to face the start here. The draw is quite important, I think. I think a low draw is kind of beneficial despite the fair run to the bend. But again, another wide open handicap to delve into.
Yeah, when you've got First View is bidding to go back-to-back in this race. Christian Howarth, who was on board him last time, he sort of blasted off in front and got the job done, didn't he? I will say, when you like the looks of Cathab, is bound to be short. He tried to come from behind at Ripon. He was put in his place by Isla Kai. Isla Kai, we sort of see him in all those heritage handicaps. So you could probably upgrade his performance. When you go away from them, Helm Rock, he ran in this race last year, was put in his place off a mark of 88. He now returns off 94. I've gone through all of them. The only one I can see who's lurking and doesn't look badly weighted at a huge price, and he's well drawn as well, like you were talking about, Matt, Kaiser Soze, down in stall number 2. He goes well at this venue. He's got a lovely change of gear. Everything's going to go forward. You're going to get First View, Bear Force 1 and 2 Tempting, all vying for the lead, and he can just sit back in the pocket in behind them. He's an old boy. I know that. The trainer's horses are in good form. He is the wrong price.
Yeah, Kaiser Soze then for Usual Suspects fans in that London Mile Series final. To kind of swallowed up against all the fantastic action, there is actually a card at Ascot with some competitive racing as well. And we've got one of those typical 7 furlong handicaps, Jason, which you always seem to have at Ascot, and all your regular favourites are turning up. Whose turn is it this time?
Yeah, well, look, and it'd be lovely to see Chubby go in again, wouldn't it? Ropey Guest, as he's affectionately known. He was brilliant at York the other day. Bless him, has been running well. Probably the most consistent horse who deserves a win is Star of Orion, who has not run a bad race all of this campaign. And it's interesting that Luke Catton gets back on board Quinault. He started the winning run on this horse early on. So Stuart Williams is giving him an opportunity on a horse who steps back up in distance. You remember when he started winning at Brighton off no weight whatsoever, he was drawn there. But look, Popmaster finished behind Spangle Mac last time. Spangle Mac had the headgear on for the first time and Buick was brilliant. Popmaster was caught out on a wing on that occasion, and he's got some rock solid form behind the likes of Rohan and all those at this particular venue. 7 furlongs, it just about stretches his stamina, but he gets it no problem. He is drawn in 10. At least he's going to be in amongst the pack last time. I think it was only the fact he was on the outside of the pack at Newbury that he didn't get it done. So Popmaster for me. Lawrence Bellman's colours, again, to the winner's enclosure.
Popmaster, then yeah, for fans of Ken Brucey's show as well. Loads of connotations this weekend. One more race to look at, the 10th and final one on ITV3 this weekend. 9 go to post in the Lavazza Stakes, over 1.5 miles. Only 8. Well, the market suggests this really is wide open.
Yeah, I think that when you go down, the likes of Gallant Lion had been in tremendous form, hadn't he, for Tony Carroll going through the grades, and it's nice for him to have a particularly decent runner for the weekend's action, if you like. Plenty with winning form. Did you see the way True Legend was ridden last time at York? He went for home a mile out, didn't he, right? And it's set up for what is going to be probably horses who are looking forward to the St. Leger. Prior to that, he was really unlucky at Goodwood, and I think they found the way to ride him. You know, they've obviously thought we're super unlucky at Goodwood, go forward, kick on for home at York, and what's happened? He falls in a hole. They'll hold on to him a little bit more, not give him too much cover. There is no way that he's at his ceiling rating on a mark of 85. True Legend to bounce back after what was an explosive run at York.
Well, then, yeah, for Sir Mark Prescott. Right then, that's brilliant coverage of the ITV races on Saturday. Loads of them covered. Give us your idea of the best bet on your card on Saturday.
I think that Bay Bridge in the opener is going to be the one, isn't he? Cornerstone of many an accumulator, get things running up from early on. He should go canter round. They don't normally go overly quick at Kempton. Maybe somebody in there will say, oh, he hasn't run over 1.5 miles before. We'll try and get his stamina questioned. He's the class runner in that lineup and he should win. And away from that, I was talking just a moment ago about Popmaster. He's a very, very good horse, made no mistake, and just the type in that 7 furlong handicap to pop up at a decent price.
Baybridge and Popmaster, then, the two to look out for on what is an absolute stellar afternoon of racing action. As always, whatever you're backing, please, the very best of luck, and please gamble responsibly.